So today we're going to talk about 15 reasons why you should try martial arts. And I'm going to try this while riding a bicycle with one arm. I haven't done this since I was 15, so if I fall off, you guys get some good content anyway. Let's get into it. Just a little bit about me before we get into these points and my background in sports. So I've did basically most sports, combat sports. I've did kickboxing, Thai boxing, a little bit of wrestling, MMA, boxing of course. Hello sir. And obviously now Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I've boxed at a high level for on and off quite a long time. I'm quite biased in saying Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is, for me, at the top. Boxing's still amazing and it'll always be a part of my life. But, quite noisy, but I don't want to be getting punched in the head at 34 years of age. You know, I love hitting the bag now and again, but in Jiu Jitsu we can spar every day. Hello sir. We can spar every day. The worst thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get, you know, a sore neck, like an achy arm. It's not like getting brain damage, getting punched in the head every day, you know. And most people doing boxing don't really know how to technical spar. They just go crazy and punch each other as hard as possible. So yeah, just a little bit of background in me. I'm obviously going to be biased with jiu-jitsu, but that's the whole point of me and this video, is to inspire somebody to get into jiu-jitsu and learn. So reason number one is going to be because it's fun. Going to the gym, especially me for the past 4 or 5 years, wasn't really fun. Wasn't really, I was deep into CrossFit. I was just looking at my phone and going through the motions. Wasn't really, you know, wasn't a fun time. Now every time I go to jiu-jitsu, it's fun. I have fun. It's fun seeing the coaches, you know, you have a laugh, like-minded people, and it's fun seeing your mate getting mauled or getting tapped out. Hang on, let me get through this little, Jesus Christ, I haven't got no brakes. And it's fun seeing your friend get tapped out and obviously get smashed on the floor and go for the takedown and miss, and it makes it so much better, and it makes it so much more rewarding as well when you have a laugh and you see, you know, other people having a laugh. And like even the warm-ups and stuff, do crazy things. You gotta, you know, nowadays it's all about being an adult and I'm too cool and I'm too good for this. Look at me driving this crazy bike for a start. But office jobs and stuff like this, so boring, man. And of course, I'm not saying don't get an office job, but when you go to like a boxing gym or jiu-jitsu stuff like this, you've got to like sprint and pick cones up, and you might do a different warm-up. It's just fun. It's nice to be a kid again and forget about your day, you know, forget about your work day and just an hour of just craziness. And yeah, it's super fun. So that is reason number one. So I've seen this pigeon, the cat trying to get it, so I've fed the cat some food. So I always carry food. I just can't do a video in peace, man. So now I'm gonna have to put the pigeon in the tree. So I tried to grab the pigeon, he flew away, and then the cat got him and ran into the building site. So I tried to do good. I tried to save him, but this is nature, I guess. Anyway, back to the going to play football or going to do any type of sport. It's a lot less boring than just going to the gym and going through the motions all the time. When you're in like team sports and stuff like this, it just makes it so much more fun. You work with people, you have a laugh with people, you compete with people as well. Yeah, it's just a little bit different than going to the gym. So fun is number one. Point number two is going to be character building / resilience. So when you're going to the gym, and you're going to the gym every day, let's say, and you're doing your workout, which is totally fine, but you're never really challenging yourself in, you know, in ways that you thought you could. When you're going to jiu-jitsu, you will get humbled more times than you ever thought is possible, and in a good way, not in a bad way. You know, no one there is gonna take the mickey and destroy you. Everyone's super cool there and is there to help you, and your coaches, of course. But you'll get humbled in so many ways. You will bring another side of you out, if that makes sense. And if you've never done martial arts before, or you've never done combat sports before, you'll know what I mean once you do. If you're just going to the gym, you've probably never seen a side to yourself that you knew was possible. As weird as that sounds, and you know, it's a weird feeling, and it's hard to describe it, but you'll get humbled a lot more, but you become stronger, you become a lot more resilient to things, and yeah, you become humble. Basically, you become a lot more humble with other people as well. You think you're the big macho man until someone half your size is choking you out on the floor and you get humbled real quick. But it's a good thing, trust me. Number 3 is going to be problem solving. Fucking hell, it's a hill. I can't even get up these little hills. Look at these hills. Hello, sir. Problem solving and like mental state. So when I go to jiu-jitsu in the morning, I would love to go of an afternoon or the evening, but I can't. I'm coaching, so the only time I can get there is of a morning. And my day is made. Once I've been to training, I feel great. The rest of my day is easy. You know, I've woken up, I've got a really good workout in, and I've got like that mental, I've used my brain a little bit. Not much, to be honest. Not much. But at least I've used my brain a little bit. And it's nice. As I say, the rest of my day is easy. So problem solving, thinking about ways to get out of a move or get into a move. How can I pass this guy's guards? How can I do this? How can I do that? How can I counter his attack? And there's so many variables that you have to think about. It's a really good feeling. So yeah, mental state and learning a little bit in the morning, even if it's a nighttime, doesn't have to be morning, but for me I can only do morning. So that's reason number 3. Adding to reason number 3, the mental state, is learning as well. Obviously you'll learn a move and then, Jesus Christ, I've just fell off, nearly fell off there. And then what'll happen is you'll go home and then the next day you'll forget the move. So then you'll go back and you'll try and relearn the move. And it's a nice thing to do, you know. It's a nice thing to YouTube. I love YouTube. I go into YouTube and I'll bang it in on YouTube and I'll try and learn it and I'll do it again. And then next week I'll try it and I might have missed a tiny little adjustment, and one of the coaches will say, Kyle, you're doing this, you idiot, do this. And I'll be like, oh my God. So then I'll do it. Then I finally got the move. It might take me 3 weeks, but it's the journey of learning that move, which is amazing. You know, I've never done that in boxing. Oh fuck. In boxing, we don't really, obviously there's only like what, 8 punches, maybe more. Jab, right hand, left hook, right hook. There's not that many things to learn, you know. Obviously they learn one thing and then they do that over and over and over for years, but it's just different. So learning and going away and doing your homework and learning is a great thing as well, and that's part of the mental thing. So yeah, that's number 3 wrapped up. Just while I'm here, look at all of these houses getting knocked down. Crazy. Absolutely mental. Whew. Number 4 is going to be, I don't know the word for this, but number 4 is the coaches, you know, at the gym, in a boxing gym, for example. It's called a boxing club or a gym, but in jiu-jitsu it's called an academy. And I'll get more into what to expect in a class or at your academy, stuff like this, but this is reasons why you should start. So they call it an academy, and the coaches at the academy are amazing. And one of the things I learned compared to sort of gym world and CrossFit world compared to jiu-jitsu coaches is they will stay behind and help you with anything. Coach, I need to pass this way. How can I do this? Okay, try this way. Blah, blah, blah. She'll stay with you for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long it takes for you to get the job done and learn that move. They'll stay with you, talk about anything you need. Like, just super good people. Where in the gym world, once the hour's done, boom, you're off. There's no way you're staying. So, and they're so passionate about it. You can see, I went to Brazil 2 years ago, and you can see it's like basically it's a national sport, you know, with soccer, of course. They're just so passionate about it. And you can see the way they train, the way they move. It's crazy. It's crazy. And yeah, it's a nice thing to see. It's a nice place to be. You see the leadership, and you see they set examples, especially the guys that are competing, the coaches that compete. They set the bar, they set the standard, and it pushes everyone to become better and obviously work towards that standard. So yeah, you know, I could get stuck on a move. I get stuck on lots of moves, by the way. I'm only a blue belt. I'm not a very good one at that. But when you get stuck on a move, they will help you on anything to get better at that move. And it's a nice thing to do. So next one is learning life skills, number 5. You learn a lot of different life skills that you've probably never had. From, you know, commitment, showing up 2-3 times a week, dedicate yourself to something. You learn manners. You learn how to be nice, how to be respectful. You know, these life skills that you might not do. You might be sat in an office all day and not really have any interaction with other people. So you learn these things. And as I say, everyone's respectful. Everyone's nice to each other. Everyone will help each other. People think, because it's a martial art gym, everyone's just killing each other. And it's just not the case. You learn a lot of different skills. You learn to be on time, punctuation. You know, you can rock up to a class in maybe a gym world half an hour late, but you know, you can do it obviously here. Everyone's running late now and again, but you can do it here maybe once or twice. But it just shows you don't respect the coaches if you're turning up late all the time and stuff. So you be on time, get your gear ready, you do your warm-up, you're ready to go, everyone lines up, and then coach will say a few words, and then you go into your warm-up, and then you do your session. So you learn a lot of things to do with life, not just jiu-jitsu. Next one, number 6. I don't know the word for this either. I'm not very good at this, but I'm going to call it respect. Obviously, respect other people and stuff like this, of course. But one thing I will say, when you line up for your class, it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what job role you have, stuff like this. Everybody lines up on the start line when you're doing your class. And it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, it doesn't matter if you're Jeff Bezos, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, a cleaning lady. Everybody starts at the bottom. So in jiu-jitsu you have a belt system. I wish we had a belt system in boxing, to be honest. and basically goes on rank, goes from white to blue to purple to brown to black, and then obviously so on after black belt. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what sport you've did before. If you're a national elite boxer, doesn't matter. If you're an NBA player, doesn't matter. You start at the front of the line and you go up in rank, and you bow, you show respect, and then obviously coach gives his words or her words, and then you go in, you do your session. And I like that. I think that's pretty cool. I think one of the reasons a lot of macho guys, look at these guys on bikes, they want to race me. I think a lot of macho guys out there don't want to do martial arts because, because of the, I want to say their image, but because they're so used to smashing big weights in the gym, and it's like almost intimidating. They're comfortable, and that's their identity, is to be in the gym, and everyone knows them as the big strong guy, and to get choked out by somebody like half the weight, it's very embarrassing, very intimidating and humbling. So I feel like that's one reason why these big muscly guys and stuff like that won't get into martial arts, and it's a shame, to be honest, because that's a different video altogether. But I just think they're wasting so much potential, you know. It's not about the muscles, it's about the brain, stimulating the brain and stuff like this. So anyway, that's another video, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Everyone starts at the bottom, everyone starts as a white belt, you work your way up. That takes roughly 2 years to 3, you know, depending on your coach and depending on your level. It takes roughly 2 to 4 years, I think, on each belt. It takes up to like roughly an average of 10 years to get a black belt. So big commitments, but I think it's a great way of putting people into place and everyone starting at the bottom with respect. And I think that's pretty cool. And as I say, I think boxing should have similar to that, because we don't in boxing. So yeah, that is number 6, I think. Number 7 is, again, don't know the word for this, I apologize, but I'm gonna say leadership. Yeah, I'm gonna say leadership and setting the bar, setting the example high. Like, I would love to go to jiu-jitsu every single day, but and learn. But number one, I haven't got the, like, my job. Obviously I have PTs and coaching, and that pays the bills, so I can only make it 3 to 4 times a week at the minute. Now, when I first started, I was super addicted to it, and I was going every day, and I was trying to get there of an evening as well, but at the minute that's just not the case. But one thing I will say is, seeing the coaches train every day in the way they do is crazy, like wild. And as I say, it sets the bar for you. You see this, and you see them competing, and you see the way they train and the intensity, and you're like, wow. And okay, they're full-time athletes, so I get it, but it's just nice to see, and it's nice to see practice what you preach. And you know, seeing the guys and the girls do that, it's amazing. So I feel like, as I say, practice what you preach and lead, and they lead by example. So it's really nice to see, and it's scary as well. When you roll with the coach, it's crazy, like crazy. That's a different video altogether. Number 8 is community, I'm gonna say. You know, making friends. You make a lot of friends from completely different walks of life, and there's one thing I love about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is you can travel all over the world. The grips are literally coming off the bike. Holy shit. You can travel all over the world, and all you need to take with you is your belt, which is pretty cool. You can walk into any academy and you can, you know, you can train with just your belt, which I think's pretty cool. It's obviously accessible, and you make friends from all over the world, and you make friends from your gym, obviously your academy. And different life forms, different people, different jobs, you know. And it's nice, as I say, anyone will help you, anyone will stay behind. Obviously the coaches will always be there, or you might get one guy that knows a move and he'll stick with you, and you guys will try it out, and it's a nice place to be. Everyone stays behind after class and you'll have a little joke. You know, remember Kyle did that stupid one-legged takedown and missed it completely and just fell into sight, you know, stupid things like that, which is actually true. So yeah, making friends outside of your normal circle and your normal work life is nice and rewarding. All right, number 9, someone rudely called me while I was making this Steven Spielberg movie. Number 9 is losing and learning, I'm going to call it. So from a boxing background, again, I always go back to boxing because it's what I did. So from a boxing background, it's hard to lose. Like, we don't want to lose. And obviously, look at Floyd Mayweather, 50-0 and all this type of things. You don't want to lose your record, and I didn't lose many in boxing. I think I lost 6 or 7. And 3 of them shouldn't have been a loss, but anyway, it's back in the day. But my thing with losing in jiu-jitsu is, like, we lose all the time. You know, I could get tapped out from just not paying attention for like 5 seconds, and you know, and that's what I love about just switching off for a little bit. You have to be so focused, and it's amazing. You know, people think when you get tapped out and stuff, it's the end of the world, like, and obviously probably when you ask like people who've been doing jiu-jitsu a long time, they laugh. You know, I think getting tapped and getting beat is a whole process of getting better. I didn't see this when I was boxing, and a funny story is I competed a few times now. And my first competition in jiu-jitsu, I was like telling everyone, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna smash everyone, blah blah blah. Wow, was I wrong. I invited all my friends, my girlfriends. Let me tell you, I got absolutely humbled, and it was good. It was amazing for me, but it was so funny because I just thought I was gonna do the complete opposite. I thought I was gonna like manhandle people, and I got outsmarted. Like, I know I'm fitter than the guy, I know I'm stronger than the guy, but it means nothing. And yeah, it was a humbling experience. But one thing I will say is I couldn't believe how calm everybody was. You know, even when I see guys that have been doing jiu-jitsu a long time, when they get beat, it's like, okay, I need to work on this. But you know, obviously they get mad and they get pissed for a little bit, but it's not like the end of the world. And I was like, wow, when I lost in boxing, it was like heartbreaking, and I would be angry for weeks. But in jiu-jitsu, it's like, no, like, that's your lesson you have to learn. You have to do better, and obviously work on that mistake. And I couldn't get my head around it until now, and I'm like, okay. So that was a big thing for me, is losing and obviously learning from the loss, and not just going crazy about the loss, which I thought was pretty great. Actually, it's a great attitude to have, instead of beating yourself up for weeks and blaming everyone else. Number 10 is going to be the gi. The gi is cool. So, a little backstory. Let me just get off this road very slowly. Get off this road. But when I was, so long story short, I did a little bit of submission wrestling when I was younger, about 14, maybe 15, 16, 17, them years. And it was underneath a bar that we used to box at called Shannon's. And once the boxing gym moved to a different place, we used to use that for wrestling. And it was called submission grappling. It was with like Gary Tyler, Adam Corson and stuff, like nice guys. And then years later, when I moved to Dubai, I only realized submission grappling was basically no-gi jiu-jitsu, and I was like, fuck, I didn't know. I was telling everyone I did the submission grappling years before, and anyway, so when I got back to Dubai and I seen everybody rolling, I realized it was the same thing that I did, and I was like, oh, okay. So then I seen them in the gi, and I was like, what's the gi? What's that suit that they're wearing? And the gi is basically a kimura that you wear, upper and obviously the trousers, and then you wear, it's like a blazer with your belt. And the difference is there's so many more grips and control that you have with the gi compared to the no-gi. The no-gi, you just wear your shorts and you wear your rash guard, and it's more wrist control and neck control and stuff, and it's a little bit more explosive. And I used to love the no-gi, but now I'm the gi guy. I love the gi. I hate no-gi. I don't hate no-gi, but I just much prefer gi. But it's so intimidating and it's so scary when you first see the gi. But once you get into the gi, then you realize, like, okay, it's not so scary. But if you're not used to it and you see the gi, it's quite intimidating. And for me, for years, I was like, not afraid, but I just didn't want to get involved in the gi. And then once I first started, I knew why, because it's so dangerous. But it's great once you get past that like little fear zone of the gi. It's great after that. So yeah, number 10 is going to be the gi. Number 11 is going to be health factors, you know, physical health factors. Oh shit, I should have went that way. So talking about like weight loss and stuff like this, again, going back to team sports and that, you'll always push better in a group of people than you will individual going to the gym on your own and running on a treadmill. You know, if you got 10 guys pushing you on the field and all the testosterone and, you know, everyone's like, like, you're gonna sprint. Where if you're on your own in a treadmill, you're gonna go at your own pace, you know. So the health factors that come with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, like, you'll never get a workout in like a 5-minute round. And what I mean by that is, like, I come from obviously boxing and come from different sports, and I was always a sporty kid, and I did a little bit of obviously no-gi when I was younger, so I knew what the rounds were going to be like. But I didn't realize in the gi how hard it is, especially a 5-minute round. And when you're with like your coach, like Matthias, it's different. A guy that's over 100 kg and not only strong, but like, again, been in the game so long, knows how to move and manipulate your body. I don't even know how to describe it. It's scary, it's frightening. But you can burn up to 600 calories for like an 80 kg guy in an hour, which is wild. And, you know, if you're doing a longer duration class, you can burn obviously way more than that. And not every class is going to be heart rates and stuff like this, because you do a lot of technical work. But the health factors of jiu-jitsu, not only the mind, the mental state, but obviously burning calories, heart rate. It's an amazing workout. And you think, they're just rolling on the floor. Try one class. You tell me, try one class. If you change your mind, let me know. Like, when you've got a guy trying to take you down and you're trying to defend and take him down, and use both the same weight, there's no workout like it. There's actually no workout like it. I need a bell on this bike. So yeah, that is number 11, I think. Next one is going to be, this is a bit of a contradiction, but strength doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how strong you are. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm strong, I'm quite strong, not as strong as I used to be, but like, you have to use your brain. And this is what I'm saying, like, when I compete against guys, I know I'm stronger than them, I know I'm fitter than them, I know I can push my heart rate longer than they can, and I can tire them out. But for example, the last competition I did, the first 3 minutes nobody gets points. So if I take the guy down or I pass his guard, I get no points. After 3 minutes, that's when you get points. And I knew this, but when it was like 3, 2, 1 go, my mind just went blank, and it was like I was back fighting, like boxing. I just wanted to maul a guy. So I took him down, I passed the guard, and I'd done this, and I got no points. And then the guy reversed me and got the points, and he won the fight, and I was like, fuck, what an idiot. So strength does matter. Like, if you get a huge guy, and obviously you get a very small guy, and the guy can push him off and stuff like this, yeah, he can get him out of that, he can get out of that position, but how long for? How many pushes has he got? That's the difference. If he can push him off for 5 minutes, amazing. Well, I don't think there's many guys out there, unless you're Khabib, that can push for 5 minutes. Like 2 or 3 pushes, that big guy's going to get tired, and the smaller guy's going to take his back. That's it, halas, game over. So I feel like strength does matter in certain ways. Obviously we all want to be strong and fit, but I feel like technical ability and using your brain is much more beneficial, and I've learned that over 2 years. When I first started jiu-jitsu, obviously I would like to say I'm much better now than I was. I was wild, like when I first came back to the gi, and I was strong and I could explode out of things. But I found when I roll with somebody more advanced than me, like a purple or brown belt, and obviously the coaches couldn't do nothing. Like, they knew exactly when I was going to push. And they still do now. They still do now. Habiko, Matthias Jr., they know exactly what I'm going to do before I've even done it. And it's just nice, you know. It's great to see. And obviously I inspire to be at that level one day, whether it takes me 20 years, I don't care. But yeah, obviously I feel like if you can still try and get as strong as possible, but not have it as your main focus. Like now I'll lift 2 to 3 times max a week, and that means like strength training, maybe I'll do twice a week. The rest is muscle building, hypertrophy to stay in shape, you know. If I do strength training like I used to do, I'm going to be exhausted for jiu-jitsu, and it's just going to, my priority is jiu-jitsu, not strength training, if that makes sense. So you have to focus on what your priority is, and don't think so much about getting strong, you know. Look at the guys, the professional guys at the top level. Yeah, they want to be strong, but jiu-jitsu's their priority, and technical ability is, I feel like, much more beneficial than just being strong. Otherwise, all the powerlifters would be great at jiu-jitsu, you know. And it's not the case. So number, don't even know what number I'm on, 13 maybe, 14. This one's for the parents. If you're gonna put your child into a martial art, I highly, whoa, nearly fell off, highly recommend jiu-jitsu. Like, again, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling's amazing, but I feel like for progressing over the years, it's a better long-term sport, in my opinion. You know, I used to do kickboxing, I got bored. Obviously I was in and out of boxing, but if you like jiu-jitsu, again, you're not getting punched every day in the brain. A little bit, you know, a little bit of boxing now and again would be great, but I feel like long-term jiu-jitsu is just, it's much more beneficial, to be honest, in my opinion. And if your kid knows jiu-jitsu, they ain't getting bullied. You know, in a world that we live in nowadays, no kid's getting bullied in jiu-jitsu, you know. So, and I'm not saying that to promote violence in children, but like my father said to me, you know, when I was a kid, you know, never start a fight, but you can always finish a fight. If anyone starts a fight with you, you've got my permission to finish it. And I always have. I've never ever started a fight, but I've finished many fights very quickly. So yeah, and obviously going back to the self-confidence and building resilience and manners teaches your kids so many life skills as well, not just not getting bullied, you know. So yeah, that's number 13 or 14. I need to change the seat as well. Fuck me, my ass is killing me. All right, last one, number 15. I think I might have missed one. You know what, there's so many more points, but I'm just going off my top of my head here, so apologies if I've missed a few out. I'll get to another video in the future as well, of course, but so many people that I know are insecure, and the biggest thing is they can't defend themselves. And again, I'm not saying I'm the biggest, toughest, meanest macho guy in the world, because I'm not, but I can defend myself. And in the world that we live in today, you know, my own country is the UK. The UK it's failed. Like, there's so many reasons why it's failed, but we're not going to get into that. But there's a reason why everybody's left the country. And let's say I went home and I was with my sister, and my sister's just had a baby, and I was with my mother and my family. We were on the metro with the train, and somebody pulled a knife on them or something. Like, this is what, like, I love CrossFit and I love the gym, and I think it's great to keep in shape and keep fit, but I feel like as a man you should be able to protect your family. And if you can't, why aren't you doing anything? Like, today you should change today and get into that mode of, okay, I'm gonna learn how to defend myself for self-defense. But you should be able to protect your family, you know, whether you're a guy or a girl. And there's so many people that I know, so many guys that I know, my friends, that are insecure and can't fight. Like, how are you, these CrossFit people, how are you gonna, you're ever in the way? Like, as I say, I'm here in Qatar. I've got to go back to the UK or somewhere at some point, and people are like, oh, when are you gonna get attacked in Qatar? And I'm like, obviously I'm not gonna get attacked in Qatar, but there's an old saying, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And it's so true. Imagine you was on the train in London with your family and your newborn family, and a guy starts like messing around with your wife or your daughter, and all you can do is push-ups. Like, you know, and I'm not saying jiu-jitsu you can destroy this guy, snap his limbs and all that. No, but you could take him down and you could hold him until the police get there, and that's the whole point. You know, it's not about being a macho man and snapping limbs, which you could obviously do, or putting them out to sleep. But if you know a little bit of wrestling and you know how to keep someone down on the floor, you train it, you know, 3-4 times a week, you're in a much better position to defend your family than you are when you're not, you know what I mean, if you don't train. So my advice is, if you don't know how to defend yourself, or you're maybe thinking about getting into a martial art, do it. It'll be the best decision you've ever made. So that is it, guys. Thank you for if you stayed here till this long, I appreciate it. So the whole point of this video is to hopefully inspire somebody that was thinking about trying martial arts, thinking about trying Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Now, I'm going to be biased and obviously say I feel like from my experience, I feel like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is the best. Now, if you want to try boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, karate, whatever it may be, that's totally fine. At least you're trying something, at least you're trying a martial art. But my advice is, go and try it. You know, if it's jiu-jitsu, go and try it. What's the worst that can happen? You get tapped out. You know, the worst case scenario, you tap out. So what? I tap out many times in a session. You know, the only thing that's going to get hurt is your ego thinking you're not going to get tapped out. Like, it makes no sense. It's like saying I'm going to go swimming and not get wet. Like, it just doesn't work. Now, the worst thing that's going to happen is you've lost 60 minutes of your day. Now, at least you've tried it. And 60 minutes of your day, you probably go to the gym anyway and sit on your phone for 60 minutes, so why not try a sport that everybody's fallen in love with and all these celebrities are doing, and just go and try it. Worst case scenario, you don't like it and you never go again, so what? At least you tried it. Try a sport, try something fun, try something new, and get out your comfort zone, because that's the biggest thing for me. Is everybody's in the comfort zone when they go to the gym, but when you're going to a new academy or a new sport, you're out your comfort zone, and that's when you're at your best. So my whole point of this video was to inspire somebody to start Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and yeah, hopefully it works out, and if it does, tag me. I'll be super happy, and hopefully you watched this video and got inspired.